Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Gadget at thetechstop.net. It's time to get your geek on. I'm your host, Robert Ballecer, and we're here in the office for Apostolic Technology in lovely San Jose, where we have our first really sunny day after a long and gray and dreary winter. Now, I want to thank everyone who stopped by YouTube and thetechstop.net to check out our pilot episode. Being that it was only a raw piece of video, I didn't think it was going to be received very well, but we received an overwhelming response with several thousand views and quite a few good email messages. Some, like lose the Roman collar and only cover one piece of gear per episode, were very helpful. Others, like, dude, you're fat, weren't quite as helpful, but still appreciated. Hey, at least you're watching the show. Let's get on to the tech. Now, CES 2007 is a distant memory, but it's only now that we're really starting to see the technology trickle out from that conference. Everything that was released is now making its way into the mainstream. One of the pieces of technology that was released there was the Nokia N800 Internet tablet. Now, this is something between a cross between a PDA and a laptop. Nokia is very, very explicit about telling us that it's not a laptop, it's not a PDA, but it's a personal information device. It's something to be kept on an end table or next to a TV or just on your desk so that you have quick access to the internet and your data. Now, last year, Nokia released the N770, the predecessor to the N800. It was interesting, and it was kind of fun. It even had pretty much the same format as the N800. But the problem was it was really sort of just a geek toy. There wasn't a whole lot you can do, even though the enthusiast community took it and they developed applications that inevitably made it a useful device. The N800 tries to change that by giving a lot more functions to the device from the onset. First of all, you notice that in the design of the device, they've given a kickstand, which was one of the complaints that they had from the previous device, which was you couldn't really use it without holding it. You couldn't put it down on a table because it would lay down flat and you wouldn't be able to see the screen. The other thing that they've changed is, even though the screen is the same size and the same resolution, which is, I believe, 800 by 480 or so, they have changed the type of LCD screen so it's transreflective. It's much less prone to washing out, and you can actually view it from much greater angles. They have kept the stereo speakers, they've kept the built-in microphone, they've even kept the recessed buttons that include your standard directional keypad, your back, your home, your menu buttons, as well as this very innovative zoom feature. Now, the cool thing about the zoom is it allows you to view a particular application or view a particular web page, which already, as you can see, scales particularly well. It actually looks quite good on this device considering how small the screen is. But when you press the zoom button like so, it zooms in full screen. And then you can use the plus and the minus button, which also double as your volume control, to zoom in or out. This is very, very useful if you're reading a site with small text, or if you have a visual impairment, or if you just want to sort of zoom in on a particular spot. Another innovation that they've added is an extra SD slot. Now, if you open up the back of the N800 like so, you'll see here you have the battery, and right next to it you've got the slot for an SD card. This is an improvement over the 770 because the 770 only had that internal slot, whereas the 800 adds another slot right here in the bottom. That makes it much easier to expand the unit, to pull cards out and add ones in, load them up with videos or pictures or music or whatever you'd like to use on the tablet. Another innovation is this. Popping out of the side is a little camera. It's actually a 640 by 480 camera. When you pop it open, it actually turns on the video chat application, as you can see right here. Now, the camera is only 640 by 480, and even for that resolution, it's not particularly great. But it does work, and it will work with future voice and video applications. Speaking of video, the N800 excels at playing video on its built-in media player. This is a little video that was loaded up on the SD card inside of the unit and then transferred over to the internal memory. As you can see, it's smooth, It's crisp, it's clear, it supports a wide range of formats for video and for audio. And not only that, but they have developed the browser to the point where it can actually play videos off of YouTube and Google Video. Now, you may be able to notice that the video and the audio don't sync up properly. The video is actually a little chunky, but it's actually quite good considering that this is playing on an internet tablet. Beyond that, just the physical design of the N800 is quite well thought out. It fits well into the hand. It's actually curved in the back, unlike the 770. It could be put into a pocket, although that's probably not where you want to keep it if you want to keep it functional for any given amount of time. The internet is accessible via built-in 802.11 and Bluetooth wireless, and it has all the ports that you might think, from power to an audio headset, that will allow you to use it as a personal entertainment device. Now, this isn't to say that everything is rosy. There are a few things that we would have liked to see on the N800. For example, the ability to synchronize this with a PC. Since Nokia themselves say that this isn't a PDA, it's not a laptop, we would have liked the ability to sort of arrange things on a desktop, on a computer desktop, and then synchronize that with the tablet, rather than having to constantly shuffle information back and forth via the wireless or a memory card. Also, the chat software and the video conferencing software right now is a little bit unstable. Now, of course, this is because it's beta, but since that's really the only way this gets used as a communication device, I'd like to see that improve via either Nokia or the development community before this really gets pushed as a mainstream device. Finally, there is the 640 by 480 camera, which is a great idea, except for the fact that it's such a low resolution, and right now, with applications as is, they can't be used for anything but the chat program. Again, that's going to change when people start developing for it, but again, the N800 seems to be in this niche of uber geek toy. Where we're going to see this come into its own, where it goes from being an expensive $400 uber geek toy to something else, is when they get those internet applications developed. Once they have a fine working IM client with video and voice capability, or a pure VoIP client that will use the 802.11 wireless features, then this goes from a $400 toy to an inexpensive $400 full-featured VoIP telephone, which is fantastic, especially when you consider the fact that it has that built-in camera. In all, this is one heck of a hardware upgrade from the 770. And they've refined the software and the design of the device. I think they actually have this nailed. They now know how they want to position it. The only question is, how quickly will it be developed for, and thus how quickly will it be adopted by the mainstream. But once we see that, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing devices like this from other manufacturers. Now, that's all the time we have for this episode. If you'd like to see more information on the N800, you can stop by www.thetechstop.net, go to the Gadget tab, and click on our show notes, which will have links, a full review, and places where you can actually go and buy the N800. Well, that's the end of the episode, and we hope to see you next week when we take a look at a possibly indestructible USB flash memory drive. Till then, I'm Robert Ballecer, this has been Gadget, and remember, there's no Uber Geek without you.